Hello and welcome to this video where I'll be trying out some different default Procreate brushes and seeing whether I like them or not. So to try them out and see whether I like them or not, I will be drawing some different silly faces. And I'm really just doing this to kind of broaden my horizon a bit and try to incorporate different brushes into my art. I only really use the round brush in the painting section for absolutely everything, and I really want to get to know the other brushes better and try to get some texture into my art. So without further ado, let's start with the first brush. So the first brush that I tried out is called Leatherwood and is in the artistic section in Procreate. And in this first drawing, I wasn't really trying to make this into a series or anything. I was just trying out a brush that I thought looked cool and started making a face and kind of just doodling, and then in the end I really liked this exercise and started doing it with other brushes. So this is the one that took me the longest. It took me about 20 minutes while the others took me 15 minutes. And in the end I actually quite like this brush. It has really good variation. You can get thick lines and thin lines without really changing the size, and you can get this kind of soft texture to the painting as well, which I really like. So in the end, this one actually turned out to be one of my favorite brushes. I also used Aurora for the eyes, and I tried to use only the one brush for everything else in the other exercises. But since it was the first one, I didn't really know that they would become a thing. Here is the final result of the Leatherwood brush in the artistic section. Pretty good brush, but next brush is the hearts in the artistic section as well. I do quite like the texture of this brush, but sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too much and I don't really know what I would use it for, because I don't think I would use it for a face again. Although I do like how this little face turned out and I think it looks cute, it's not really into my style and I don't think I can incorporate it all that well into my style. So a good brush, but I would probably not use it again in the future. So here's the final result of the hearts brush from the artistic section. The next brush is called Tarine and it's in the texture section. So this brush I quite like the texture of, I would say. It's not too much, but it is kind of rough. So you can see kind of this grainy texture all over it, which would be good for some drawings, I would think. But again, it's not really one that I would use for my style, although I do really like the face that it turned into. I think it looks really adorable. And I did enjoy kind of the softness of the brush in a way. It has this rough texture, but at the same time, you can get these really soft layers because you can press lighter with your brush and it would be really nice and light. But the issue also with this brush is that it does not change the line variation. If you press harder or lighter, it will always be the same size, and that's just too much of a hassle for me. So I struggle a little bit with this and will probably not use it again. So Tarine in the texture section was kind of a miss for me, but still cute. The next brush is the Old Beach from the artistic section, and this one was actually really fun to work with. The texture is incredibly rough, so I don't think I would use it for faces, but I might use it for background drawings or something like that. And I really like the effect where when you use it, it gets like darker around the color and lighter on the inside. I'm actually not 100% sure if this is the Old Beach brush because I didn't write it down on this one. I tend to write it down, but in this one I totally forgot and I just looked through the brushes and this one looked the most like the one that I used. So I'm thinking this is Old Brush, but I'm not 100% sure. The next brush was the Pismo from the artistic section, so another artistic section brush. And this one has also a very rough texture, but you can make it quite soft with the layering, which I like, but it's still not really a brush I would use again. Although this little monstrosity that I make here, I quite like this little, kind of looks like a blobfish, but a triangle form. I also, here I kind of just take off completely and make something crazy. I was getting bored of circles, so I went into triangles, and then later I go into some completely different shapes. But yeah, otherwise this brush, fun to work with for this exercise, but probably won't use it in my art later on. Pismo from the artistic section. The next one I did not find the brush for, so I'm just gonna show it real quick because I think it's a cute drawing. It is Phineas from Phineas and Ferb, because I was making triangle people anyway, so I just had to. But I couldn't find the brush again, so if you know this brush, please let me know. The next one was the sword grass from the organic section. And this one I didn't think I would like, but actually really ended up liking. And I think I would like to make a human or a person or a humanoid of some sort with this brush again, because this kind of reminds me of like this mossy troll or something. You can make a mossy creature or maybe a dog or a fur texture with this grass brush, which I would have never guessed or thought of if I didn't make this little test. So I'm really happy that I tried this brush out. So sword grass is definitely for the win. I will definitely be trying to make a little moss creature with this brush in the future. Next brush is oil pastel, and I really do like the texture of oil pastels in real life, but I hate drawing with them because they're messy and gross, and I just hate how they feel on my fingers. So I wanted to try them digitally. So I tried the oil pastel brush, and I like it. I like it quite a lot, and I might use this brush later in life when I want to make something that looks more traditionally drawn but is digital, because I hate drawing with them, but I like the texture. So yeah, I'm glad that I tried this one out. I think it looks good. It's a good drawing as well of this little square person. So yeah, oil pastel from the sketching section, definitely a good one. And then, because I really liked the swordgrass one, I decided to make one with the wild grass brush and hopefully see if maybe one is better than the other. So I tried it out, and I did enjoy drawing with it, but I don't think it looks all that grassy when you are painting with it. Like, the edges look like grass, but when you paint the shading and stuff, it doesn't look like grass anymore, and it kind of loses that moss effect. So the swordgrass is definitely the one that I like better than the wild grass from the organic section. So I'll probably not be using this one again. The next one was really fun, and it's the paper daisies or paper daisy from the organic section. So here I'm completely going wild for the organic stuff because it's really fun. And I also really like the texture of this one, but it also has the same thing where it doesn't really look like the plants anymore when you go in a smaller scale, which makes me kind of sad because I really like the edges of this drawing, like the face shape. But I can see myself using this brush while making bushes or trees and such. Maybe just not for faces again. So that was the paper daisy from the organic section. The next brush that I tried out was the mountain ash from the organic section again. And this one did to me not really look like a mountain. It gave me more of a wood texture-y feel. I decided to go with a heart for this one because I wanted to try different shapes and I was getting bored. And yeah, I like the brush. I would use it to make bark or to make trees that are close, and maybe for mountains as well, but not faces again. And I kind of struggled with trying to blend this face and try to make it look like a face and not like a bark. But I still like how the heart face turned out. And I do like the brush, but I probably won't be using it for faces again. So the mountain ash brush from the organic section, good for nature stuff. The next brush that I tried out was the Sassafras from the artistic section. And this one had a really subtle texture to it. It's not too brutal. It's really easy to make things smooth, but while still having a little bit of that texture in it. So I actually really enjoyed this brush. It was harder to make finer lines with it though, so line art is definitely not its strong suit, which is definitely not what it's made for. But I do really like the smooth ways you can make the colors, and yeah, just how smooth and nice it is without being too smooth, like with a little bit of texture. And I also really like how this little bud face turned out. I think it's one of my favorite ones from this one, for sure. So yeah, I think I will definitely like to try to incorporate this brush more into my art, just to get that subtle feel of texture and make it a bit more interesting. So Sassafras from the artistic section, definitely a good one. The next brush that I tried out was the Dove Lake from the texture. And this one truly has texture. This is probably the most textured one. It's really rough, and I don't think I will use it for anything ever, because it's just too textured for me, and I like, or tend to like, smoother stuff with maybe a tiny bit of texture to it. So this one's not for me, but the face looks really cute, in my opinion. He looks a little goofy and a little spooky. So that was the Dove Lake from the textured section. Now we're going into the last brush, which is the Laruna from the artistic section. So there's a lot of artistic and organic brushes in this video, I realize now. But these are the ones that I like the most though. And this one also has kind of this subtle texture. It's not too rough. So it's kind of the same as with the Sassafras. And I like this kind of just as much as the Sassafras. So yeah, I really like this little guy as well. I think it's nice to have a star shape in there as well. It looks kind of cute, and I think I might use this one with faces as well as other things. It would also look good with as pretty much anything. It's a good brush. So Laruna is also for the win for me. So that was pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed looking at these strange little drawings and maybe found some brushes you yourself would like to use in the future. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next week. Goodbye.